Hello and welcome to another edition of Toxic Crypto. Happy Saturday. I hope you all had a wonderful Friday evening. I know I did not put out a video Friday. I took the evening off, and we actually got some exciting movement over the night time hours and into today. One thing that happened, as we can see on the screen right now, was the EOS blockchain launch. We finally, after long awaited, EOS finally did its mainnet launch, and I don't know if it pulled up the rest of the market or not, but you can clearly see my makeshift little pitchfork that I drew a long time ago still seems to be holding. Um, and you can tell now that EOS, this is the daily bar on Bitfinex. The yellow is the 50-day. We're above all moving averages. And we had a igniting bar breakout from this wedge. EOS is looking very bullish here, very bullish from that perspective. Now it went straight up today, so if you were long, good for you. Again, I've been holding just a little bit. It's kind of just so that I'm involved. It's not gonna hurt me if it goes to zero, kind of thing. It's a very small position, so kind of cool to watch. I was a little concerned because Ethereum's a little bit of a bigger position for me. There's been a lot of talk about what would happen to Ethereum. Would Ethereum dump? Had Ethereum been dumping? Let's go to the daily, because EOS was selling all of their Ethereum tokens from their ICO. Is it a conspiracy? A lot of pretty cool little rumors and things going on in the crypto markets right now between Ethereum and EOS. And you either like the EOS team or you don't, depending on several factors I won't get into. But needless to say, we don't really know how EOS is really going to happen. We've got the sidekicks that were all saying that EOS is going to go up to $250 in the next year. Is there enough room for Ethereum and EOS if EOS doesn't have all these bugs? And apparently they were still able to launch. Maybe they fixed the bugs, maybe they didn't. So we'll keep an eye out. One good thing is we got some really nice volume here off of the technical breakout from the last couple weeks that's been setting up. And it looks like the rest of the market came with it. So whether you're an EOS fan or not, I think that may have helped the rest of the market just get enough juice to start going again. This is Bitcoin on Coinbase. I'll even look at the weekly. We had 3 weeks down after 5 weeks up, making a higher. We have a reversal candle on the weekly, but we're still below moving average. So that's one thing we want to take in mind, right? Bitcoin is still below moving averages, whereas EOS, just using EOS as an example, is above all major moving averages. So which one's stronger? EOS is, right? Just keep that in mind when you're looking at it. So we're still looking at the wedge. We were able to, as we get down here in the skinny bit here, this downtrend wedge that we were kind of competing against in the 7600 level, there was a lot of, let's get a little bit closer in here. There was a lot of selling pressure at the top of this wedge, and really kind of where it is right now. But 7550 to 7600, we were seeing some wicks, some selling pressure up there, and we finally did get through it. So let's see if it holds. I think that's really good that we went sideways for several days. It shows that price can stay there. This is Bart Simpson, if you will, but we were able to hold even off this like $200 down move that happened. Was that yesterday morning? And we were still able to recover from that. So I would say on big volume that was pretty bullish, and that it easily could have stopped here and faded down. The fact that we made a higher high right now, even on a shorter time frame, going back several days, and that we're wanting to get a lift out of here, that's really good news. And there was a lot of Elliott wave bear theories that were saying we were gonna get after this move down here, the count had us going here and then rolling over from this point last night. All the bear counts and even the bull counts had us breaking lower here. The bull count had us breaking lower to right about 7,300 and then bouncing higher, and the bear count had us breaking down and going through 7,300 down to like 6,900 with an ultimate target in the next month of somewhere in the 5,000s. So very interesting that the Elliott wave people, both sides, got jigged out of the market here. Even the bull count. So we'll see how their count changes as it will. I'll be very interested to see what they're saying now. But me being a cocktail napkin trend line drawer and some other technical analysis that I follow, it looks to me like this is now starting to turn more bullish. And we've been up here and we've been holding. And we've been flagging out for the last 6 or 8 hours. So I like that. I like that. And on the 2 hour, we're actually showing that the moving averages are starting to move up and we're coming into this 200 day. But again, we have a lot to go. I mean, we still have to go up to 8,500 even to touch these moving averages. But every day we move up and every day we move sideways and not lower. This 50 day is getting much, much closer to the 100 day. And we could have a cross there, which would take us even higher and potentially out of this wedge and up into the races. So that's Bitcoin. A little bit about EOS because that's the big market news that's been happening. I am a big fan of Litecoin. It's one of my larger positions that I've been adding every time we've gotten down here in the 115 area. I've been accumulating, and it's not moving as much, and actually it's kind of a low volume day for them. But excuse me, my voice is going off. But we do have this trend line break of the last several weeks going back to May 14th that is really coming into play. And, maybe we get this bounce to 140. On the daily, that's what it's looking like to me. And there's a lot of people who draw these wedges and are looking at counts in here. And, there's people that are saying in the next 40, 50 days, we're going to break out of this downtrend, this fan pattern, this wedge pattern that has repeated itself multiple times in history, and we're going to see a major move to 1,000 over the next 40, 50 days. Now, that would be awesome, right? I mean, there's a lot of fundamental news with Litecoin. They're using Litecoin for the Arba network. I can never pronounce their name. It's like Ariba. Everything I want to say is Ariba, but I think it's ARBA or something. Instead of using US dollars or another fiat currency to back all the clearing for this exchange and trading platform, they're using Litecoin for clearing. That's huge. They have to hold a whole bunch of Litecoin in order to do that, and the more it's used, and it's one of the more popular apps and internationally speaking, the more Litecoin they have to hold and the more Litecoin they use. And I think there was even a VR porn announcement that they were now using Litecoin for the VR porn site as well. And I don't know how big that site is. I'm not I don't know much about porn, but I do know that in technology, porn usually leads the way. I can tell you Blu-ray, that's one reason why Blu-ray won out, because of the porn industry. And I think why 3D didn't and VR is. So I think that's just something to keep on the radar to see if that holds true. It's definitely good news for Litecoin. It's another big stream whale adoption of Litecoin, which is you want. Remember, there's only about 80 million coins out there, and on average, it's underowned. Really, it's underowned. If you looked at, I don't have the article up for you guys right now, but if you looked back at some of the research that's been done on how many people actually own cryptos and then what do they own, it's like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, and Cardano. That's their majors. Like Litecoin's not even in the top of the people that own crypto, which really is surprising because Litecoin has probably the most upside potential to it relative to Bitcoin. And as Bitcoin goes up, Litecoin's going to do just as well. I mean, we're going to see what happens to Bcash. I also own a little bit of Bcash just to be involved because you never know. There's only 15 million of them, and if Bitcoin really is going to turn into digital gold and not have anything to do with the money flow, then they're going to move to Bitcoin Cash and they're going to move to Litecoin. And I tell you what, there's not a lot of Bcash out there, and Litecoin has smart contracts and everything else going on with it. And from what Roger Ver is saying, Bitcoin Cash is going to be implementing a lot of those things that Litecoin has by the end of the year. Now that's we'll see. We'll see. I'm sure they're going to have some updates come out. They've already increased the block size. I think they've done a lot of things necessary in order to facilitate being able to use it on the mainstream, which is exciting. It's completely different from what the BTC is doing right now. But BTC's also got a lot of fundamental news coming out with Lightning Network continually evolving. And again, the Lightning Network is going to be used by credit card companies in the future to facilitate all the transactions. So you're going to be using, every time you swipe, you'll still be swiping your credit card until we get away from that technology. We'll still be using that, but we're going to be able to lower transaction fees by using cryptocurrencies in the background, and we're going to be opening up these huge nodes and these master nodes on the Lightning Network to be able to pass transactions even more quickly. It makes it more efficient and lowers transaction fees. That's all Bitcoin and Litecoin that's going to be on that market. The big boys have decided that they are, look at the four Coinbase, that's what the institutions are backing, and that's what they're going to be using. So Litecoin has a really bright future. Don't sleep on it. That's all I can say. Don't sleep on it, especially when we start moving. We get above this downtrend line, it is going to explode. And when we get above this, maybe we go up and then sideways and then higher. The future says that when we get above, the history says when we get above these little wedge patterns like that, we get these massive moves. And there are some calculations from people out there that are saying that in the next, by the end of July, we could see Litecoin 1,000 or higher, something like that. So I would just, keep it in mind. What does that mean for the rest of the crypto market? I think everything goes up. I don't think it's just a Litecoin only. I think everything goes up. Now, Litecoin is still under all moving averages, so until that changes, it's still bearish. But of course, it's sitting on the lows and it's trying to come up right now on small volume. So we'll see, guys. We'll see. One thing I think was a standout. One of them was a standout was Bitcoin Cash. Over the last several days, as you can see, we had that down dip, and then remember I had that video where I said this thing came up with a vengeance. So it's pretty much an inside bar. It's almost if we were going up, say this was reversed and we were up here, it would be a king and queen pattern, which would be a reversal pattern. I don't remember if it's the same on the bottom side, but when you get these large bars that are taken out immediately the next day, and then you get a move higher from the previous high, it's a reversal pattern. So we'll see. It's coming up. It had a really nice move today with decent volume, and is now above on the shorter time frames, the 2-hour moving averages, and just came up to the 200-day. And it broke through, like we've seen with all the other coins, this downtrend. You could call it a bear flag down here, going back from May 23rd. So all really good signs. And this was a nice move in Bitcoin Cash. It moved one of the most out of them. It's up 8.5% on my trading view at this time at 2:34 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday. You got the move out of the wedge. It came in a little bit, took some profits, held higher, and then moved up on big volume. Really good things to see. As you can see, it's been setting up in this flag, and we actually got resolution to the upside after several weeks in this range. That's bullish. That's bullish. So I think by the hour, we are starting to turn more neutral out of the bearish camp, with ever more bullish signs being presented. So we shall see. Ethereum, it did kind of break out, but it's not as strong. I think it's because, let's look at the 2-hour. Yeah, it got out of there. It got out of there. We got an extension move, but it's not as big. It's not as big as Bitcoin Cash. I think a lot of the volume, I think this is just moving with the market. It's moving with Bitcoin. I think a lot of the volume went into EOS. That's now above 15. Look at this. You're going to be in Ethereum that went up 1%, or you're going to be in, EOS that's up 23%, right? Much bigger breakout. And remember what we were saying about EOS. Now, this is a straight line. Cryptos are going to do what they're going to do, but If it doesn't come in at all, maybe it comes into 14, which would be a big percentage pull in. But look for it to go sideways a little bit. And then remember we were talking about there's an air gap between right around 15.20 right here all the way up to 17.15. There might be some sell pressure going up above 17, but really there's an air gap to 17. We could see an extension move to 17 before we get a pullback down to the 15, and maybe it takes a little bit more time there to hang out before we move higher. Or this is just, or this is EOS buying their own token, right? Because that seems to be going around right now. Binance has started $1 billion fund to buy up back their own BNB token, so BNB went up. EOS has their own fund buying EOS tokens. So, hey, if it makes you some money, I guess they're doing good for their quote-unquote shareholders. In other news, Zcash finally has, it's also performing with markets, doing a little bit better than some others, and it came out of its wedge to the bull side. It's above moving averages now, and I think we've got some clear sky to 270 to 280 and possibly up to the 200-day up here around 290. XLM moved first, I think. It was having, this is a 2-hour on XLM. We did get above this long-term downtrend, and it moved first. We got up to 30 cents. We got some sell pressure up on the 200-day, which we expected. All the moving averages are now starting to curl up. We did get a pullback in the last since the last move up. It did move with the market a couple cents, and now it looks like it's getting some support on the 200-day. So that's really good news for XLM fans. I am a small holder in the portfolio long term. Stellar does the financial apps for cryptos, and I think it's really being used by the big financial institutions. I think it's got a bright future, so it's looking good. It's looking much better. It's doing what it needs to do. Golem still above all moving averages. After that really nice move to 66. We pulled in, we flagged. We're now allowing the moving averages to catch up, which is good. We want the moving averages to catch up a little bit because the more we move away, the more we get extended, the more the rubber band will come right back in. So which is kind of why we got that 10% pull in. Now we're kind of hanging out and we are flagging. We did get a little bit of a move after. You can see on the 30-minute time frame a little bit better. This is a bull flag that I drew that it was navigating through, right? And with the move of everything else, it did get a push through this morning. It's now coming back to moving averages. So it's good that Golem went sideways. It needed to a little bit. It's going to make the next run more healthy. I would say if we went below 58 cents, which Golem could do, and it might not even mean anything, it would probably be a sign to take notice because this is the last low from this move higher. So think of that as a support line. We would want to see that hold if Golem is going to be going higher much sooner. And I would say another sign would be we want to stay above 56 as well. It looks like we've got some support here from previous times in the chart. But the moving averages have caught up with Golem, where the others they haven't. As long as these moving averages come up and provide support, maybe we get a couple more days sideways, and then we're going to get another nice setup for a bullish trade higher. Again, we're still holding on to that. Cardano looks to be pushing through highs right now. Cardano is a leverage long that can go on through BitMEX, so you should expect some bigger spike price moves. But Cardano looks to be doing good. It's above moving averages. Again, one of the more bullish charts. It's been up here for several days. It's flagged up, flagged out, and this wedge stayed in a confined, tight 5% area, and now it's pushing through just in the last 30 to 50 minutes. So keep an eye on Cardano. It was hit pretty hard, I think more so than the others. On the daily, we're still not above on the daily yet for Cardano. I guess on the short time frame we were. But we'll see if we can get past this first 100-day moving average, which was right around 23, just under 24 cents. We'll see how it handles that. If we can shoot through that, then we probably should be able to get to the next moving average of 27 cents, which 5 cents from here would be a 20-25% move. That's a nice move. And let's see here. ZRX, we said to keep on the radar. It's not moving as well as the others. I guess it did get the move much earlier this morning. Again, on that 3 o'clock, midnight 3 o'clock hour, it got the move, and now it's still hanging out. Again, that was the trade right here into the moving average, and above this wedge, we got a tradable bull move. So maybe they traded that and took it. Now, chart patterns are transforming. So we'll see. There are other charts out there that look much better than this. This is 30-minute, but it's still looking okay. But we'll have to keep an eye on it. Icon, a lot of money. Was it Pandora or Panera? The like $4 billion hedge fund or something. Maybe it's $1 billion. I don't know. It's one of the bigger hedge funds in crypto right now. They're a big fan of Icon. I'm sure they got hurt really, really bad on this move down because they own most of Icon. But it's hanging out. It's still above moving average on the short-term time frame. QTEM real quick. High and tight. Looking good. Some big volume. Last night, got an extension move. Another one I wanted to bring up was actually Burst. Burst is, if you remember, the hard drive proof of capacity coin. There's a few out there. There's like Sia Coin. There's Burst Coin, and then there's going to be Filecoin, which I don't think is full mainstream yet. But anyway, you hook up your hard drive space and you plot them. It takes a while, but then it uses that in order to run algorithms to prove mathematical equations and stuff. It's pretty interesting coin. I mean, and you can get quite a bit from the hard drive that you have. You pretty much need an 8 terabyte hard drive, but do some research on it. It's having a little stealth move in the last couple of days. This is nothing. This isn't nothing. I mean, you look at this. We're at 2.1 cents all the way up to 2.8 cents. That is silently doing really, really well. That's roughly 38% move in the last 5 days. It's getting a little extended on the 30-minute. Let's see if we back it out on the daily. Look at this. I don't think there's a lot of people talking about this in Burst. We got some nice volume too. After the April move, Burst did not revisit the lows. Again, when you're looking at these other charts, look to see which coins have the relative strength. Burst is now retaking the 50 and the 100-day. The 50-day has already, on the daily, has already crossed the 100-day right here. So that's a bullish target we were looking for Bitcoin, remember. We got it on Burst, and it looks like Burst wants to try and make it to 3 cents, which would be the 200-day. And Burst also has this downtrend wedge that it's contending with. But after the move off of April, we got the continuation with massive volume. Burst held higher, and Burst held the previous breakout from April 12th-ish with some volume. So I would say keep Burst on your radar if you don't already own some. I know there's quite a few people out there who do mine this. It's kind of fun. So, if you're a miner, a GPU miner, it's another little thing you can make a little bit on. And remember, Burst went all the way 12, 13 cents. So in the heydays, it can get moving if it wants to. And I believe this is also a McAfee coin as well that he came out with several months ago. That was a brief overview that I wanted to give. I guess we should also bring up Tron. This is Tron to the dollar. And again, I don't know if I upset anyone. Definitely put a comment below if you would like me to start doing some BTC Ethereum pairs. I'm I come from traditional markets where I like to see dollar terms, and I understand there's a valid argument to make to be looking at these coins with respect to BTC and Ethereum, and that the crypto community does use, for example, Tron BTC pair, um, for reasons to go in or out. Because ultimately BTC is the big dog, and you're either doing better than BTC or not doing as well, and there are algorithms that trade up off of it. So if you want both a USD and BTC or ETH pairing, I will be happy to go through that. I found success literally just going off of the USD pairing though. So you can use it both ways. But yeah, just put the comment below. Don't forget to hit the like button and your notifications, the little bell, and subscribe. I'm trying to grow the channel. If you like it, please tell your friends. I will try to be doing daily content, and I try to put a little bit more of a spin on things than other people that I've been seeing. So if you would like to see some other analysis, or for me to bring up or talk about and bring up with the channel some coins that I haven't brought up so far, please let me know. I'd be happy to add it to the list. If you got any fundamental news you want to talk about, I'm good with that. Just put a comment below, and that would be a lot of fun. It would add to the channel and help everyone out, and we would all learn something. Let's check out XMR real quick. Monero. Monero's finally... I would keep an eye on Monero now. Remember I said Monero has been the weakest? I would keep an eye on Monero now. It's been contending with this downtrend since April 25th, 6 weeks, and we're finally peeking our head out above it. Along with a lot of other people, but Monero's been very weak. It showed that it can hold, and now it's got some volume to it, and it's been going sideways since 2 a.m. So I think Monero is showing some strength right now and saying that it wants to go higher. And even on the 2-hour time frame, we're above moving averages. Maybe we get a move back up to 175 to the 200. If we get above that, we could see a nice extension move in Monero, and maybe to 185, 190. And I think this is setting up even a 200 for a several week rally. Maybe we're going to get another rally up to the top, near this top of the trend line to 250 over the next 4 weeks, which is really what we've been looking for and calling for with the entire market, and really Bitcoin coming up here. Again, it's looking better. And the longer we start to move off of the bottom of this triangle with decent volume, and especially after going sideways, not going parabolic straight up, the more the bears will start to have to cover. Let's take a look at the shorts right now. The shorts have started to cover a little bit. I don't think there's too much to discern from the long and short charts right now, but just something to keep an eye on. All right. And I think real quick, what did Deutsche Bank do on Friday? Looks like some people covered on 531. Some big buy volume. Outside of the bank going down, if you start looking at risk reward, if you were short back here wanting the stock to go down in the 18s or 19s, or even short in the 15s, you now made 50 to 80% of your money. So that would mean you need to take some off the table, right? Not even Wall Street's that greedy. So even with that big volume spike, we didn't really move too much off. So look how far extended Deutsche Bank is from the moving averages on the daily. That's now going to be resistance. If we get a bounce on Deutsche Bank, 1350 in my opinion would be pretty tough. There's been a lot of gap downs. 1250, definitely 1350, where we saw this prior breakdown, would be some resistance in my opinion. But we're not out of the woods yet. I know that markets came back pretty strong on Friday, but I think a lot had to do with the North Korea summit being back on. It's going all over the place right now. There is still quite a lot of volatility bouncing us back and forth. Where do we look like? What do we look like on the SPY chart right now? Tell you what, we held the 200-day. We tested it several times. We had that move in early May. We went sideways. We retested the breakout of the wedge, and now we're moving higher. I think it might surprise us that we're going to go higher. And in fact, if we get above 274.15-ish, people are going to have to cover against that. And really, there's nothing until 279. So we'll see what happens next week over the coming weeks. The next 2 weeks, we got the Kim Summit. Maybe we go up into that. But again, the European debt crisis is not off the table. It's gonna be something we need to watch. It's not gonna happen overnight. And the Italian stuff, I was trying to read up on it and do some research on it on what the timeline was going to be for the Italian bombs and the politics in Italy right now. And it looks to be probably September to the end of the year is going to be the time to watch for the Italian political and the Eurozone crisis. I don't know whether that means that it kind of goes sideways off the radar for the next couple of months. I doubt it. But the Italian government isn't going to do that. That's really the next timeline to look. And if we think about where, if that's going to affect crypto markets, now crypto markets seem to be bouncing where they are anyway. Maybe we're going to start to feed some money in, and investors are going to front run anything to do with Europe. Maybe that gave investors a reason to support Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies right now, where we are right now on a low, because markets like to look at things and I'm going to say discount things 6 months in advance, 9 months in advance. So they sniff it out. And by the time it eventually happens, normally we get to sell the news. So buy the rumor, sell the news. So we'll see if that turns into anything. Now, looking back, if that's going to be a September timeline, historical performance is not indicative of future gains by any means, but in the September timeline to October, I mean, it's predominantly Q4 is predominantly been historically very good for Bitcoin and cryptos. With the Italian political fiasco, with the next timeline to look more in the September timeline, if nothing happens before, maybe that sets up for a huge end of the year run again. So just food for thought. Food for thought. With that, I hope everyone has an amazing Saturday afternoon. Again, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, tell your friends. If there's any specific coin you would like to see, just put it in the comments below, and I'll add it to our analysis. And I hope everyone has a great weekend. Eat well. Think positively. Be nice to your friends and family. And I will catch you next time. Toxo Crypto out.